In this video, I'm going to show you how to deploy a Django app on AWS EC2 and also how to serve your media and static files from the S3 bucket. And lastly, I'll show you how to automate your deployments using Git Actions. I'll show you how to perform CI/CD with Git Actions. So without further ado, we're getting started right now. Okay, so what we have on the screen is a voting application. Understand? So I'm going to give you guys the source code in this video's description, and also the tutorial made by me will also be found in the video's description. Understand? So right now, let's proceed to deploying our app on AWS EC2 Instance. So right now, I'm logged into my AWS account. As for you, create an account and make sure you're logged in. And once you're logged in, come over to the search bar up here and search for EC2, right? So on the search bar there, make sure you look up EC2. So you can see we have it on the drop down. There is EC2. Click on the first option, the one that says EC2. Click on it. Okay, now so right now I want to create an instance. I want to create an EC2 instance for our Django application. Maybe we are going to host our Django application. Hope you understand. So over here, if you just scroll down a bit, you see this button called Launch Instance. So click on the button, Launch Instance. We're meant to be redirected. Okay, now, you'll be brought down to this page. And right here, we're going to create our EC2 instance. So right now, I'm going to call my instance. Currently, I'm trying to deploy a voting application. And over here, I could just call my instance. Let me just say e-voting, right? I think that's fine. E-voting is fine. I could just call it, that's fine. You could pick whatever name you like. That's just it. So scroll down. So in this application region, I want to scroll down just here. In this application and OS images, so make sure you pick Ubuntu. Understand? So click on Ubuntu. That's the third box, Ubuntu. So let's go down a bit. I don't know why it's not scrolling. Let me reduce the size. Okay, it's fine now. So first of all, you give your instance a name. Secondly, you pick the operating system you want to use. We are going to go with Ubuntu, right? So scroll down and then over to the key pair. So we are going to create a key pair. So it is with this key pair we are going to be able to log into our instance. Understand? Because this key pair is going to give us access to our AWS to our EC2 instance. So we are going to create a key pair. So click on this link on the left, on the right, create new key pair. So click on, I'm going to say e-voting underscore key pair. So underscore key pair. So you can call it whatever name you like. It's all your choice, right? So once you're done, click on the create key pair button. Click on it. So right now you can see over here the key pair was saved in your computer. The key pair will be saved locally in your computer, right? So that's it. I just have my save now. So once that is done, you scroll down, and in this region over here, make sure you check these two boxes. Make sure they are both checked, right? And then lastly, I think we are done. So click on this button called Launch Instance to create your EC2 instance. So right now our instance is being created. So once it's done creating, we are going to start the deployment process. So right now our instance just got created. Instead, so you can see we have the success message on top here. So if you scroll down, click on View All Instances. Click on it. Click on the button. And right now our instances are loading up. And right here, this is the instance we just created. It's called e-voting. It's called what? E-voting, right? So click on this. Click on the instance ID. Click on it. Okay. So right here, you can see all the information about our instances on this page. Every information you need to know about your EC2 instance is on this page. And this public IP address is your is just like your domain name. Once we are done with the deployment, if you go down to this if you go to this public IP, if you visit the address, it's going to simply show you your Django project. Hope you understand. So that's it. So right now I have my project up over here. I'm going to simply, let me make the screen big enough so you can see clearly. Okay. So here's my photon system. Here's my Django application. I'll be pushing to GitHub soon. Okay, so what we're going to do now is simple. Remember, we are trying to deploy an application. This public IP, I'm going to copy it now, and then come down to your code. Come over here. In the allowed host, you're going to simply add the public IP. You understand? It's important. So now I'm also going to add my local hosts. That is 127.0.0.1. Yes. So once you've done this now, I think you can then push your code to GitHub. You understand? If you don't have a project to use, don't worry. I'm going to link this project in this video's description so you can use it for this deployment process. You understand? So, okay, so let's install GUnicorn. So I'm going to say pip install GUnicorn. So this is important. So you have to do this. Pip install GUnicorn. Right. So hit enter. So once it's done installing, we're going to simply update our requirement.txt file. So we're going to say pip freeze requirements.txt. So you have to install GUnicorn, and then once you've run pip freeze, so I spelled it wrongly. So it's meant to be, I'm going to delete this. This was the wrong file. Delete. So I spelled it wrongly. So it's requirements, not X for shoe. You understand? So it's enter. So let's see the file. Okay, right now we have all our dependencies here. So I think right now we can push our code to GitHub. Right now I'm going to deploy this to GitHub, and from there we are going to continue. Sorry, did I say deploy? I meant to say I'm going to push this code to GitHub. So let me just do it. I'm going to do it with you guys so you see how I do my. Okay. Git bash. Why are you taking time? Come up. Ouch. My git bash is. So right now, let's deploy this to GitHub. First of all, we are going to simply initialize a Git repository in this project. So I'm going to say git init, right? And then this is the first command you need to run, git init. And once you've done that now, we are going to simply, the next command is going to simply it's going to simply stage our projects. So I'm going to say git add. So we are trying to add up everything in this project. We are trying to get them ready for pushing. You understand? So that's that. So after we've done git add, the next thing we're going to run is git commit. And the git committing is simply committing our changes to git. So I'm going to say git commit. I'm going to simply say initial commit. This is my first commit on this project. Right, so we're pushing down to GitHub. So we're not pushing yet. So once this is done, I'm going to simply change from master to the main branch. I'm going to say git branch main, right? So I'm trying to switch from the master branch to the main branch. You understand? That's what I want to do. Okay, let's wait for it. Okay, that's done. Once you've done this, now what's the next thing? Go down to GitHub and create a repository for your project. So I already created a repository for my project. So I'm going to simply add this remote URL, copy it, and then go back here, create a repository for your project, and then git remote add. Let's wait for it. And then let's push. I'm going to say git push origin main. So this last command is going to push your code to GitHub. You can see it's pushing, and it's done. Let's wait for it. It's done pushing to the browser. Refresh this page. And here we have our code pushed to GitHub. Perfect. So now we have our code pushed to GitHub. So what's next thing? The next thing for us to do is for us to SSH into our EC2 instance. So open your command prompt. So I'm going to open my command prompt. CMD, where are you? CMD. Or you could just search for CMD in your search bar, and it's going to pop up. So CMD, come up. Okay, it's up already. So the first thing I'm going to do, I want to simply SSH into the server, into my EC2 instance. I remember when we were creating our EC2 instance, a key pair was created for us. Understand? A key pair. And it is with that key pair you are going to be able to gain access into your EC2 instance. Understand? So as for me, my key pair was saved to my downloads directory. Over here, this is my key pair. It was saved to my downloads directory. So what I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to simply cd into my downloads directory. I'll say cd downloads. That's where I have my key pair saved, right? So I'm now in the directory. Once I'm there, I'm going to say ssh, then -i, then the name of my key pair file. I can't remember what I called it. Let me see what it's called. It's called evoting_key pair. It's called evoting_key pair. The extension is .pem. You understand? So that's what the extension is called. Sorry for that noise. So for all we have here, we have evoting_key pair. That's the name of the file, and .pem is the extension of the file. And next we're going to say Ubuntu. Ubuntu is your user. Ubuntu is the name of your user on the EC2 instance, right? And they're going to say Ubuntu at your public IP. Your public IP is over here. Let me show you where it is. This is your public IP. Copy it and then come over here and paste it. So it's enter on your keyboard. And right now you just simply say yes, yes, and just wait for it. And right now we've gained access to the AWS EC2 instance from our command prompt. We are now inside of the AWS EC2 instance. So once you are here, what's the next thing? So I have a guide on how you can deploy your projects to AWS. I have a guide already in this project. So you see a file called deploysteps.md. Deploysteps.md. This file contains the guide on how you can deploy your project to AWS EC2 instance. So I'll open this. So don't worry, the source code is in this video's description, so you find it there. So once you're here, because these are the steps, right? So it's going to guide you on how you can deploy this to AWS. So first of all, you have to create your instance, which we've done. Once you have done that, you have to connect to your EC2 instance. So what's the next step? After creating your instance, connect to your instance. We just connected to our instance right now. So what's the next thing now? We need to update the environment we want to deploy to. We are deploying to an Ubuntu environment, right? So we need to update that environment. We need to install all the necessary packages for that environment. Understand? Because currently this is an Ubuntu environment. So you need to install all the packages necessary for that environment to work fine. I'm going to copy this command called sudo apt update. Copy it and paste here. So I'm going to hit enter. So now it's installing everything needed to deploy your Django project effectively. Let's wait for it as it installs. Okay, it's done installing now. So next thing I want to do now, I want to simply install Git. Understand? Copy. So go down to paste the command, install Git, hit enter. So we just installed Git. So now right now we can clone our project into the server, into the instance, right? So now we're gonna say git clone, right? So okay, let's copy. So now we're gonna copy your code here. So back to I'm gonna say, let me just clear this guy. Let me clear up what we have on top. So yeah, what we have now, we have a clean page. I'm gonna say git clone. So I'll paste. So this is so now it's enter. So right now we have been able to clone our projects into the EC2 instance. If I say ls, so right now you can see my project here, which is called Django underscore EC2. So I'm going to cd into that. I'm going to go into the project. I'm going to say cd Django underscore EC2. Hit enter. So right now I am inside my Git repository. Okay, what's the next command on the list? So after we've cloned, we have to go inside the repository. What's the next? The next is to create a virtual environment. So now I'm going to run this command, Python 3, make virtual env. So our virtual environment is going to be called venv. That was it's going to be called. So copy this command and then paste it here. Hit enter. Try an error. Okay, it says. Okay, now it's through an error. It says we need to install apt install Python 3. So let's copy this command first. Install this command first. Ctrl C, paste it. So it told us what to do. Apt install Python 3.12 virtual env. So let's install that first. There's a problem. Over here we had a permission error. So you can see what it's saying. I said you need to install Python 3 venv first. So we need to install this first. And they gave us a command over here to install it. So after installing the command, we had a permission denied error. So that's because we did not add sudo. So we're going to use sudo. Right? We're going to say copy the command first, Ctrl C. Then we're going to say sudo, and then paste the command again. And now hit enter. So right now we just installed it. So just say yes. That's why. Hit enter after saying yes. So once this is done, so we can then run the command again to create our virtual environments. Ctrl C. So if you can just read, if you face an error, if you face any error, just make sure you read the error message clearly. You see the guide on how you're going to find out how to fix the error you faced. Understand? So it's not complex. So right now we've been able to create our virtual environment. So what's the next thing? Let's activate it. So copy that source command to activate your virtual environment. So hit enter. So right now you can see our virtual environment has been activated. Perfect. So that's fine. So what's the next step? The next step here. So we have to install every dependencies inside our requirement.txt file. So copy this command and then paste here. So enter. So it's installing everything. So while installing, let's go. What's the next command we are going to run? Okay, you have to install Postgres. So for now, we are not going to go down to Postgres. We are going to come out to Postgres later. We're not coming to Postgres yet. So now we want to install Gunicon instance. Now let's see this is done. Okay, it's done. So now let's install Gunicon. Copy this. So paste here. Hit enter. Okay, now we already have Gunicon has been installed. So what's the next command? Next command now is want to create and edit this Gunicon systemid service file. So we are going to paste this content inside the Gunicon systemid service file. Right? So let's copy the content first. Copy the content, go down to your Django projects. You can open whatever page that was not. Okay, let's paste the stuff here. So now I want to simply let me make it smaller. So I want to paste this content into the Gunicon system service file. But before you can paste it, you need to make some adjustment to this code. You understand? So over here, so we have your user is Ubuntu. Don't forget Ubuntu. So now working directory home Ubuntu. You can see this is your Django repository. It's called Django. Your repository is called Django underscore EC2. That's what mine is called. If you're on the same project as myself, if you're using my project, your repo will be called Django underscore EC2. If you're on a different project, your repo will be called the name of your GitHub repository. For me, my own is called Django underscore EC2. So over here, I'm going to simply put in, let's say Django underscore EC2. So on the next line, it says Ubuntu, home Ubuntu, your Django repository, still Django underscore EC2. So our virtual environment is called VENV. So on the right side, we have home Ubuntu, your Django repo. So that is Django underscore EC2. Django underscore EC2 .sock. So your project name is simply the folder that holds your settings.py file. For my repository, that folder is called my voting. This is the folder that holds my settings.py file. That's your Django project name, right? My voting, the folder that holds your settings.py file. So your project's name is called for mine is called my voting. So you have to be careful while making this correction so you don't mix things up. My voting. So we are done with the first line. So let's be sure everything is fine. So scroll down. So we have home Ubuntu Django EC2 VENV. Okay, let's be sure we're not making any mistakes. Okay, so now I think we are good. So now we can run the command. So I meant to run this command sudo nano. So copy it over here, paste it. What's going on? So that's it. Okay. Yeah. Sudo nano, Control C, paste here. Yeah. So sudo, yeah. So hit enter. So you're going to copy this stuff. What we edited here, just copy it. Control C and then paste it here. Control V will paste this for you. And once you've done that now, hold down Control S, S for snack, or S for shoe, Control S first to save, and Control X for xylophone to leave the terminal. Right? So now we're out of it. Good. So what's the next command? So scroll down. So right now we are asked to reload. So we're asked to reload the system file. So I'm going to run these three commands individually. So yeah. So currently we are setting up Gunicorn. So let's run the three command individually. And lastly we have sudo, yeah, copy it and paste, enter. Yep. So nice. So we've done this now. What's the next step on the command? So now it's time for us to configure Nginx. So we're going to install Nginx. Copy this command, paste it, hit enter. So just say yes. And let's wait for it while it installs. Okay, it's done. I'm going to create an Nginx configuration file for our project. sudo nano. Okay. Before we run this command, we are meant to paste in this content into this file we want to create. So let's copy the content first and go and update it, because we are meant to make some changes to it. Copy it, go down to your project, let's comment this one out, and then let's just paste the new one. So you see server name, your server name is pointing out to your IP address, but you use your IP here, copy, and over here, paste it. So we have this. So now you can see Ubuntu, your Django repo is called Django _EC2. That's for me. So for the proxy path, it's going to be Ubuntu, your Django repo. That's Django _EC2, Django _EC2, right? And saying making progress, Django _EC2, Django _EC2 static. Okay. So I think we are good to go. So now let's go and run the command we're meant to run first. So I'm going to run this sudo nano first. Copy this over here. Let's clear up what we have on top. CLEAR. So paste the command there. So you can see it's saying your projects. This is pointing down to your project, and it is called my voting. My voting, right? That's a folder. That's a folder that holds your settings.py file. From the one hit enter. Okay, I did add sudo hit enter. Yeah, so you can then copy this code. Ctrl C. Back to your EC2 instance, paste it. So you hold down Ctrl X for shoe and X for xylophone. So you're out of it. And once you're done, just scroll down a bit. We've done this. So now I'm going to copy this. Ctrl C. Paste it. Let's correct. So we are going to add. You can see why it says your project. That is my voting. My voting, right? So copy this command, Ctrl C, go down to your EC2 instance and paste it there. Hit enter, and once you're done, you can then run sudo nginx-t. You paste it. No, not this command. Paste this other one. Copy it. Paste it here, yeah. Hit enter. You can see now. You can see it says that our configuration text is successful. That's a good sign. And lastly, we're going to restart Nginx. Ctrl C, and then over here, just hit enter. Yes. And last but not the least, we're going to simply run sudo this. Ctrl C. Yep. So paste it and hit enter. Yep. So once you go down to your, now we just finished. Right now we just finished deploying to AWS EC2. So you go down to your EC2 instance. If you click on Open Address, click on it. So you're going to go down. Okay, it's gonna. Now let's wait for it. So it's strange. It says unable to connect. It's meant to say you are meant to go down to HTTP, not HTTPS. HTTP. Hit enter. You can see it gives us a 502 bad gateway. So we are going to fix this right now. This is because of this as a result of as a result of a permission error. Instead, so to fix this now, so just copy this command gmod. So you're going to be home, then your user. Our user is called Ubuntu. So copy this command, go down to your instance, and then paste it. So it's gmod, change mode, then your home directory, then the user directory, right? So hit enter. Once you've hit enter, we're going to restart Nginx, and the command is over here. So restart Nginx is the command here. Ctrl C. So back to your instance, paste the command so you start Nginx, hit enter. Right, so that's fine. So if you go down to your browser, come back here on the refresh page. And yep, so right now our application is now live on the web. It's live on the web. If I give you this IP address, you can access this application from anywhere you are in the world. But from what we have here, our application is not looking good, right? So see on the local server, this is how it looks like, right? So you can try to vote. Before you vote, you have to sign up. Okay, that's fine. So, but over here, you can see how it's looking. It's looking bad. It's not looking good. So we need to go on. So right now, I'm going to show you how to serve your static files and also your media files from the AWS S3 Bucket. So I'm going to work on that next. Okay, so we're making progress. So now let's go and create our S3 bucket. So go down to your instance, come over here. So back to the search bar, search for X3 instance. So it's coming up. Why are you taking time? So you can click on the first option, X3. So we're going to create a new bucket, a S3 bucket to serve our static files and also our media files. So click on create buckets. So general purpose, yes. I'm going to give my bucket a name. I'm going to just say voting buck. The name must be unique. If it's not unique, you won't be able to create your bucket. So here's my mouse. I come from my cursor. Okay, voting buck. Yep. So we have to give it public access. It's important. So uncheck the box. You have to acknowledge that you're giving the bucket public access. I think that's all we need to do. That's all. And then create your buckets. Okay, our bucket is being created. So our bucket is, you can say I called it the voting buck. I have other buckets, but these are buckets here. So click on it. So right now click on the permission tab. So right now I want to go and right now I want to give our bucket a permission. It's very, very important. If you don't give the bucket a permission, it won't be able to render your media files, static files. So click on permissions. So just scroll down a bit. So where you have bucket policy, this region, click on edit. And over here, click on policy generator. This button. Right now, I want to generate a policy for our bucket. Click on it. Okay, now we're on this page now. So on this first drop down, we're going to pick S3 bucket policy. S3 bucket policy. So in this principal field, you're going to put in this asterisk, that's star. Understand? So we'll scroll down. So we're going to say, yeah, that's a star. So as for the actions, I'm going to simply get objects. Get object, that's get objects, here is it. That's the action we choose, get objects. And as for the Amazon resource name, over here, just copy this. So after you click instance, so on this page, copy this. Remember you got to this page you are on. You got to this page from clicking on this button. So as for this Amazon resource name, you have to go back to the page you came from, which is this page. And then you copy this bucket ARN, right? Just copy it, and then you paste it in this ARN field, and then you put in / and then asterisk. That's star, right? Understand? / to star, just like what you have on top here. So click on Add Statements. So now I'm going to generate a policy. Click on it. Yep, so copy this, Ctrl C, close, and back to this tab. I'm going to paste it over here. In this policy field, paste it here. So make sure there is no extra space. Just the way it is, that's how it should be. And then click on Save Changes. There's a field here, click on it. Okay, we're almost done. Almost. Okay, so what's next? So now let's see if our permission is working. Go down to the Object tab, click on Upload. Let's upload the file and see if the permission is working. So now we're going to simply add a file. Let's add one or more images, one or more pictures. I'm going to look for a picture over here and add. Okay, let me add this picture, open. So I just added this picture, front-end framework 1, this picture. So I'm going to say upload. Okay. Yeah, so there's the file name, click on it here. Okay, now if you scroll down, you're going to see the link to the file, the link to the image, click on it. So right now, if you see the image like this, if you upload an image and you see the image you uploaded, that means your bucket is working fine. So now let's go complete the configuration for our bucket. Okay, next thing we are going to do is simple. The next thing I need to do is now this. So we're going to go back to the search bar. I'm going to create a user. I'm going to create a IAM user instead, because why we are doing this is because our bucket needs a access key and also a secret access key, and we can only get those keys from the IAM user. That's why we need to create this IAM user. So it's called IAM. Understand? So click on this first option. So let's wait for it while it comes up. So once you're on this page, just scroll down a bit. Click on users. I already have one user. So I already have this user. So I'm going to create a new user right now. Create user. So I'm going to give the user a name. I'm going to just say e14 user. Next, click on the next button. So I'm going to say attach policies directly. Click on this. Click on this on the third box, the last box. And once you are done, in this search bar, just search for Amazon S3. Amazon S3 access. Yeah, Amazon S3 full access. That's what we want. Click on it. Yeah, that was need to click on. Check the box, right? Check on the box and click on next. So then we're going to create user. So user has been created. So what next? So click on the e14 user. I'm not done. So click on the e14 user. You can see on the top right, click on the create access key. Click on create access key in the top right. So on this page, we're going to choose local code. We are choosing this because we want to make sure that our S3 bucket can also work on local environments. Click on the local code and then scroll down. So here, check the box and click on next. And now click on the create access key button. Yep, so now right now we have our access key and the secret access key. Understand? So I advise you now copy these two keys and save them securely, because you'll need this key to be able to connect your S3 bucket to your Django project. Hope you understand. So make sure you copy them and keep them safe. Okay, so now just click on, okay, you can scroll down to download the CSS file that contains these keys, you understand? So you can have it safe, you understand? So click on done once you're done. Okay, so right now we have created our IAM user. We now have our access key and a secret access key. So what is the next thing? So now right now let's go configure S3 Bucket to our Django project. So first of all, we need this package called Django storages. So copy this. So back to your terminal. Okay, there we are. I'm going to open a new command prompt. So we're going to simply comment it. We don't need all this code again up here. What my computer is okay. Let me just comment these guys out. So okay. So I'm going to simply just say work on. I want to activate my virtual environment EC2 env. So I'm going to install Django storages and also Boto 3. These two are very important for you to configure S3 with your Django project. So while we wait for Django storages and Boto 3 to get installed, while we wait for them to get installed, go to your settings.py file. In the installed apps region, we are going to add storages, and okay, that's fine. And one more thing, you have to create a .env file. Create a .env file. Once you've created your .env file, so the next thing you have to do now is you have to also create a file called .kitignore. So you create these two files in your project's root directory, the directory where you have your manage.py file. So you're going to create your .env file and your .kitignore file. So once you've made your .gitignore file, you're going to simply put .env there inside of your .gitignore file. That's because we don't want to push this env file to GitHub. No, it's not a good practice at all. So in your env file, you're going to put in your AWS access key ID. You are trying to hide this information. They are not meant to be shown to the public. I know as for you, you can see my after this tutorial, I'm going to delete my own. So you understand. So this is my access key, my secret access key. My bucket name is called Buck. All right. Can't remember. Let's be sure. Bucket name. Where are you? Let me search for X3. Come up. Trying to find a come up. Don't waste my time. So bucket name is called Buck. This is the name. Control C. I can see the region is EU not 1. EU not 1 is the region. EU not 1. You can see the EU not 1. So right after that here, let me just put Buck. So this is my env file because I'm going to be accessing these credentials from my .env file. Hope you understand. So we've done this now. So now let's go configure. After we've done this now, let's make sure our Django project can communicate with our env file. Your Django project must be able to communicate with the .env file because we are going to be getting these credentials from these files. So right now, I want to configure our env file so our Django project can communicate with the env file. So you need to install this python.env package. Make sure you install this command. So once you've done it, so we are going to wait for it to get installed. It has been installed. And right now, head over to your settings.py file, to your settings.py file. You're going to paste these two just above, just under the import OS. You're going to add from .env import load.env and load. Understand? So you also just have these two imported. So once that has been done now, we need to update our requirements.txt file. Open this too because we have already installed some new packages. I'm going to say pip freeze requirements, .txt, pip phrase requirements, did I spell that correctly? .txt, yeah. So we're going to update the file now with the new packages we've installed. It's really, really important. So once we've done that, what's the next step? The next step. So right now we're going to paste this S3 configuration in our Django project. So scroll down to where you have your, so where you have our settings, so where you have your static, to this region. We are going to simply replace this with what I just copied, which I just pasted. So let me explain what is happening here. So from the first line, from this region, we are simply fetching our credentials from the .env file. That's what we are doing on the first region, and over here we are checking to see if all the credentials are set. If they are set, we are going to simply use the S3 bucket configuration for our static and media files. But if they are not set, we are going to stick with the default configuration. It's as simple as that. And lastly, we need to run the command python manage.py collect static. So this command is going to simply push our code. We're going to simply push our static and media files down to the S3 bucket, right? But before we can do that, we need to have the AWS CLI installed. Go to your browser and just simply search for download AWS CLI. So click on the first link. This is the page, the first link, and then because you have different operating systems, so pick the one you are currently on. So currently I'm on Windows. So click on Windows, and here's the installation link. This is the installation link over here. If you're on Linux, pick the one for Linux. If you're on Mac, pick the one for Mac. Alright. So here's the installation. So make sure you have this. Make sure you have the AWS CLI installed. Make sure you have it installed. So how do you know if it is installed? I'm going to open a new command prompt. And I'll type in there. I'll just say AWS - version. Hit enter. Come up. You can see it gave me the version. That's nice. Right now, I want to simply configure AWS on my local machine. I'm going to say AWS configure. Hit enter. So right now it's asking for my access key. So I'm going to give it my access key. I think I have it here. Ctrl C. I'll paste it. Hit enter. It's asking for right now it's asking for my secret key. Let's give it a secret key. Paste it and hit enter. Right now, it just told us our region name. That was fine. Our region is EU North. Hit enter. Yeah, the format is JSON. Perfect. So we are good. So once you've done this now, you can then run the collect static command. Right? So let's bring up our terminal. And right now, we're going to say python manage.py collect static. Collect static. Right? Collect static. So let's wait for it. So let's see. Let's wait. So you can see up here it's saying type yes to continue. Yes. Okay. It's gonna take quite some time because right now we are hosting our static and media file on a live server on AWS. It's going to take quite some time to run this. Let's wait for it. So right now it's done copying the static file. So it says 128 static files copied. That's beautiful. So now let's run server. Python manage.py run server. Let's say 8001. I think The default server is 8,000. It's currently in use. So on this server now, okay, that's fine. Go down to your project. So we are currently on local environment. We are going to see push our changes to GitHub, and then console. Okay, oh, that's beautiful. You can see now our media files have disappeared. Our media files are no longer showing. That's because we are now on AWS, so we need to re-upload the media files again for it to show. Mind you, we are on local environment, but everything is fine. Everything is perfect. Because previously, our media files were showing on this other tab, but right now it is no longer showing. That's because. So let's right now. Okay. Go down to your S3 bucket. Click on voting bug. Click on your buckets. So you can see now we now have our CSS file, our admin CSS now pushed down to AWS Instance. So you can see we have it. Open the folder. You can see the folder, right? So right now I want to simply upload. I want to simply upload a file for this. Let me upload the file. So let me log in. Sorry if my tab is too small. I don't know. I love my window so small. Sorry, let me just increase it. So I want to add an image so you can see where it's coming from. Log in, don't waste my time. Yeah, so categories. So I'll give one of these an image. So let's just say browse. A front-end framework, open, save. So I just got an image for this guy, for this category. Save. I know why it's taking time. Right now we are now having our media files on AWS. You come back here. Sorry, not here. Go back to let's copy this. Okay, come back here. Go back to coding next. So you can see now we now have front-end framework now as an image, and this image is coming from AWS, right? So go down to your buckets. You can see if you refresh this page. You can see now we have our image folder, and inside of that folder, open the folder. Inside of the folder, we have our front-end framework image, our front-end framework, right? So you can see there. This other image you see here is from the one we uploaded when we add our permission policy. Don't forget. So this is the image folder that holds our media files on AWS. If you check my code here, go down to foot app, models.py file, models.py. We check over here in the category, we have this image field, this picture field, and it uploads the image folder. Hope you get, and that's this image folder you see here is what we have over here. And this folder is going to hold your images that you uploaded as far as this project is concerned. Right, so now we are done with this. Now what's the next step? Okay, now so right now let's push our changes to GitHub, and then remember we just configured our S3 bucket to serve our static and media files. So right now let's push these changes to GitHub and then continue our deployment. Remember, we check from what we have here. Where is it? You can see from what we have on EC2, our project is not looking good. So I want to make sure it looks good. So right now I have to open a new command prompt. So I'm going to go down to my downloads, cd downloads. I'm going to say ssh I, then e14 underscore key pair dot spam. I'm going to say Ubuntu at. Remember, I need to copy my, what's it called? Let me get my, I think it's here. This is my IP address. So I'll paste it here. So I don't need the HTTP or the slash, just the IP address. So hit enter. So we are back again. So I'm going to go down to my GitHub. I'm going to cd into my Git repository. I'm going to say ls. So okay, the name is Django underscore EC2. I'm going to say cd Django underscore EC2. So that ls helps me to list out the contents of my server. Django underscore EC2. So right now I'm inside again. So what I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to simply create a virtual environment. I'm going to create a .env file. Remember, the .env file we have in our local projects is not pushed to GitHub. It is not pushed to GitHub. But before I do that, let's simply pull. I'm going to pull the changes I have on GitHub. I'm going to say git add dots. Alright, that's the first step. I'm going to for the first stage and commit, and they're going to say git commit. And you can pass whatever message you like. I'm going to say git commit pulling. Okay. I'll just say git pull origin main. Oh, it's trying an error. So you can see, give us an int. Just run one of these three commands. I'm going to run the middle one. Let me just say git config pull .rebase. So we just add an error, but it's fine. True. So hit enter. So now let's run the git add again. Git commit. So now let's run git pull. So it says could not apply. Which was the problem? So you have to find a solution. So it says I should remove this. So we have some options to run here. So I'm going to run this. I just say git rebase. Let's try git rebase. I don't know. Let's say git rebase. Git rebase. Let's just say abort. Enter. So let's pull now. So our aim is to pull the changes we have on GitHub into our EC2 instance. I'm going to say git pull origin main. Our goal is to pull the changes we have on GitHub, but it still keeps throwing this. Let's simply run skip now. Since abort did not work, let's skip. Okay, now the skipped works. Okay, now I think let's see git pull origin main again if it's gonna work. Okay, perfect. We've been able to pull now. Perfect. So once we have done this, so we are going to create a .env file. Remember the .env file we have in our project. This file we have here was not pushed to GitHub. So we have to create a new .env file on the server and then paste this contents up there. It's as simple as that. So I'm going to say nano.env. So copy this and then paste here and then save and leave. So we are out, and I hope everything should be working now. Okay, we just made a push now. That's perfect. So go down to your EC2 instance. Okay, so right now it's time for us to restart Nginx and GUnicorn instance. So let's restart them. So before you can do that, you have to make sure your virtual environment is activated. Remember, GUnicorn is available inside of your virtual environment. So come back over here now. From the guide now, I want to activate our virtual environment. And here's the code, source v. So come over here and then, so we'll paste it here. To activate our virtual environment. Perfect. So once you're here now, so you need to restart Nginx and GUnicorn. So here's the restart command for Nginx. Here's the restart command. So copy it. Let's restart Nginx. You copy, paste it here, hit enter. We are going to do the same thing for GUnicorn. So you just paste the same command. Let's copy it. It's not pasting. Copy. And we're going to do the same thing for. Okay, it came late. So we have it there. So you're going to change Nginx to Gunicon. Understand? So we have to restart both Nginx and Gunicon. So we have already restarted Nginx. So right now let's restart Gunicon. Hit enter. So perfect now. So once you've done this now, so you're going to visit your public IP, right? So over here, copy this code now, copy, and then down to your browser, I'm going to say HTTP, and then we paste it and hit enter. And perfect. So right now you can see our application is now being served with our static files instead. So this media file you see here is coming from the S3 bucket, as well as our static and media files are now coming from S3 buckets instead. So we are making progress. So if after you've restarted Nginx and Gunicon and you come across this error, so I'm going to show you how to fix this. So the first time we had this error page was because of a permission issue. So you're not meant to have this error page again. But if you come across this error, this is how you fix it. Look, just watch here. So you go down to your code. Let me just clear up all this thing I have here. Clear it up. So you come back to your EC2 instance. So you are meant to create. So you are going to create a new virtual environment. I'm trying to show you how to fix the issue you see on the screen. So you create a new virtual environment, and how do you do that? You come over here. So this is the command to create a virtual. So it starts from here, from the setup. So you copy this first command. You go down to your. Make sure you are inside of your Git repository. You paste the command here. Then you hit enter. So that's the first step. So what's the next command? The next command now is to create the virtual environment itself. Copy the second command. This is Python 3. Copy it. You paste it here. So the last VMV is your virtual environment. So I'm going to call it something else. I could just say KENV. So right now my virtual environment is called KENV. You understand? So hit enter. Let's wait for it. So now let's activate it. So you copy this source command to activate your virtual environment. You paste it here. So we are going to change the VENV to KENV. So hit enter. Perfect. So once you've done this now, you are meant to install all the requirements, all the dependencies, your requirements into this virtual environment. And if you say ls, so in this file, I'm going to say nano requirements.txt. So you can see these are all the dependencies our application requires to run, right? So right now we are going to simply install all of those dependencies into this virtual environment, and we are going to say pip install, and we'll say and then we'll say requirements.txt, right? So it's enter. So right now we are installing every requirements for our Django project into the virtual environment. So once you've done this now, the last thing you're meant to do, the last thing, so if you come over here, we're going to remember in your over here, if you check here, in your Gunicon service file, you have to put in the right name of your virtual environment. You know, previously we are using VENV. So now we are meant to change it to KENV. So just copy this command to open the Gunicon file. So you paste this here and then hit enter. So right now we are inside of the Gunicon file. So you are going to change your virtual environment. So I called my MENV. This is the virtual environment here. So you're going to change this name to the new name of your virtual environment. So you're going to scroll down to that point. So you just scroll and then use your arrow keys to the point where you have it. So make sure it's called KENV. Then it should be called the new name of your virtual environment. It's that simple. So you hit Control S and X. Yeah. So once you've done that now, the next thing you have to do is to come over here and run this 3 command, and then we can proceed. So here's the first one, hit enter. Then the second one, hit enter. And lastly, this one, hit enter. So once you've done this now, so I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna leave my GitHub. I'm going to leave my GitHub repository. I'm now say ls. So you're meant to have this file, this Django underscore ec2.soc. You're meant to have a .soc file. If you don't have this file here, you're always going to face this error you see on the screen. So as I said before, the first time we had this bad gateway was due to a permission issue, and we fixed that and already fixed that. The next time you fix this error message, the next time, what you have to do is to come and check in your root directory, check out for the .soc file. If it is not there, that is the major cause of this error you see here. And how do you fix it? It is by going into your GitHub repository, understand, and then creating a new virtual environment. Once you create the virtual environment, make sure you activate it, and once it is activated, you have to make sure you install all the dependencies for your Django project into that virtual environment. And once that is done, you go down to your Gunicon service file and change the name of your virtual environment to the new virtual environment. Hope you understand. And once you've done that, you run this 3 commands to restart Gunicon. These 3 commands, and we are good to go. Once you've done this now, you can then scroll down and restart Nginx. Right? Copy this. Restart Nginx. And lastly, restart Gunicon. And once you've done this, go say Gunicon. Hit enter. Down to your browser. Refresh this page. And perfect. You can see our application is back up again. And just right now, let's create our Postgres database. So go down to the search bar and search for RDS. RDS on the search bar, RDS. And once you've done that, you will see RDS on this drop down. So the first option, click on the first option, RDS. And let's wait for it. Okay, so once you're on this page now, on the left here, click on databases. On the left navigation, click on databases. Understand? So right now we are going to create a new Postgres database. So click on this button that says create database. Okay, let's wait for it. So once you're on this page now, so we are going to go with the standard create. So scroll down. So you pick PostgreSQL. So keep scrolling. Otherwise it's still loading up. Let's close this. So we're gonna keep scrolling down. So we're gonna go with the free tier. The free tier is good enough for this tutorial. The free tier is good enough. So we are sticking with the free tier. So okay. Also, you can see our username is called Postgres. Make sure you remember your credentials. Your database username is called Postgres. Understand? So right now we're going to give our database a password. Make sure you input a password you remember. So I'm going to input my own password, and I'm going to input something I'm going to remember. Understand? So make sure you input a password you remember. So after the confirm password, you put in the same password. And over here, scroll down. You keep scrolling. So I'm gonna say public access should be yes, and keep scrolling. Okay. There's a place, and at this point called additional configuration, you have to click on it. And right here, you're going to give your database a name. Your database is meant to have a name. I'm going to just call this voting DB, voting_DB, and scroll to the bottom. I think that's all. If you're on a new AWS account, AWS is going to give you 1 year free trial. Instead, you're going to have this message if you're on a free account. But instead, so if you're on a free account, so don't mind this price. So if you're on a free account, AWS will give you 1 year free trial. Understand? So okay, click on the button that says create database to create your Postgres database. So our database is being created. It's going to take quite some. I'm going to close this. So you can see up here it is creating. So it's going to take quite some time. So we'll be patient. Okay, so right now our database has been created. You can see up here it says successfully created database 2. So you can click on database 2. This is just a generic name. Understand? Currently I already have database 1. That's why you can see database 2 here. So if it is your first time of creating this database, I'm going to simply add database 1 up here. Understand? So just click on it. Click on it. Okay. So now we are brought down here. Yeah. So we are brought down to where you can see its credentials. Okay. That's perfect. So right now, let's configure our Django project to communicate with this Postgres database. So go down to your Django project. Let's go down to your settings.py file. Okay, just scroll down to your database section, to your database region, which is this place. So we'll paste in this code block. Paste it. So you can see what we are doing here. We are doing the same thing we did for our S3 bucket. So you can see the first variable says is pointing down to the database name. This is pointing down to the database password, and so on. So if you check closely, if all these environment variables have been set, if they are all set, we are going to simply use the Postgres database that we just created. But if they are not set, if the environment variables are not set, if any of them is missing, we are going to stick with our SQLite database. Hope you understand. So that's how it works. This is the best way to go about it. So what are you going to do now? So you're going to simply open your env file. So here's your env file. So we are going to simply add these credentials. So like your database name. So we're going to copy this, Ctrl+C, paste it here. So what's the database name again? I told you. So I'm going to show you how to get that. Remember, so click on configuration. Click on the configuration tab. So you scroll down. You can see your DB name. I called my voting_DB, if you can remember. So I'll copy this down to my Django project, and then I'll paste it here. So your database password, I told you to give your database a password you remember. So I'm going to put in mine later. So I'm just going to put in something random. So I'll put in mine later. I don't want to expose it, understand? So my database user. So paste in. The user is Postgres. If you followed me, username. I told you that username is going to be called Postgres. Database hosts. So copy this now. And we're going to call our database hosts. Come down to your browser, click on connectivity and security. So here's the database host. So just click on this icon. This is your database host. Just copy it and back to your project. Paste it. Right? Yeah, and your port number, database, your DB ports. Yeah. And if you check closely to the browser, our database port is 5432. Just copy this and paste it there. Right, so that's it. It's as simple as that. Understand? As simple as that. So once we've done this now, what's the next thing? Okay, I'm going to input my database password now. So once you have all these environment variables set, we are going to simply use your Postgres database and not the SQLite. But if any of them is missing, your SQLite database will be used. That's how it works. Understand? So now let's run server, Python manage.py, run server. I'm expecting an error. I'm expecting an error to come up. So I'll show you what next to do. So let's wait for it. Okay, it's almost done. Oh, because there is no error. There is no error. Okay, maybe it's because I've done this several times. But if it is your first time of trying to configure a Postgres database from AWS, you are going to face an error. You are going to face a connection error. You understand? A connection error, and I'm going to show you. This is how you fix it here. Come down to your database, to your credentials page. So in this security column, click on this link, this security group, click on it. So once you've clicked on it, so once you're on this page, so you click on the security group ID, click on it. Okay, once you've done that now, scroll down a bit. You see this part where we have edit inbound rules. Click on the button. Okay, I see what's happening here. Okay, what you're going to do is simple now. We are going to add 2 more rows. So usually it is only we are only meant to have a single role. But as you can see now, we have 2 rows. That's why the database is working. So let's come over here and we are going to add 2 new rows. Click on the add row button. So on the first drop down, you're going to choose all traffic. Yeah. On the second drop down, you're going to pick anywhere IPv4. Understand? So pick another. You're going to add another rule again. Click on the add button one more time. So you're going to add again all traffic. On the second drop down, you're going to pick anywhere IPv6, and then scroll down and save the rows. So once you've done this, it says it already exists. Okay, back. Okay, we have duplicate rows, so I'm going to delete this. So that means that we already have maybe IPv4 working. This should be IPv4. So okay, so if it says duplicate rows, okay, that means it's fine. Let's leave it the way it is. Understand? Like, okay, by default you are meant to have only a single row, and then you come over here and add 2 more rows, which is the IPv4 and the IPv6. Understand? But as for now, it's working like this, so let's leave it. But as for you, if it's your first time, you have to come over here and add the 2 rules I talked about, IPv4 and IPv6, and make sure you pick all traffic. And once you have done, scroll down and save, and click on this button that says save rules. Okay, now our database has been connected to. Perfect. So let's make migration. So as for you, so you have to install this package called Cycle PG2 binary. So whenever you're working with Postgres database with your Django project, you're meant to have Cycle PG2 binary. Understand? So it's enter Cycle PG2 binary. And once you've done that, always remember to update your requirement file. I'm going to say pip freeze requirements.txt. Hope you get. So whenever you install a new dependencies, always remember to update your requirement.txt file. So we have this done. So now let's make migrations and migrate. Make migrations. Python manage.py, make migrations. So once you've made migrations, we're going to migrate this time. So we're going to say Python manage.py migrates. It's enter. Let's migrate. So it's migrating. Okay, let's wait for it. Something you can see it's quite slow. That's because we're on a live database. That's why it's quite slow. So I'm going to wait for it while it migrates. So once it's done migrating, we're going to create a super user that can access our database. So now let's create a super user. I'm going to say Python manage.py, create super user, create super user. I'm going to say Clint, that's my name. Email address can be skipped, the password. I'm going to say yes. And right now we have a super user created successfully. So now let's run server. So once you are done, once the server starts, our server is coming up. So now we can then push our code to GitHub, and then we're going to go down to our EC2 instance to pull the code, to pull our changes. Hope you understand. So push your code to GitHub. Okay, so guys, we've pushed our code to GitHub. So the next thing to do is to pull in the code into our EC2 instance. So I'm sorry for the beeping sound, but we are going to proceed like that. So okay, right now I have to open my command prompt. So we are going to SSH into the EC2 instance once again. Hope you understand. Okay, so my command prompt is here. Let's make this bigger. Let me reduce the size. Okay, so right now I'm going to go down to the directory where I have my key pair saved. And as for me, it is in my downloads directory, and I'll say SSH. And I'll say I'm going to put in my key pair is called kali.pem. And then I'll say Ubuntu at, so remember, at your public IP address. Sorry, I have my instance up here. Sorry, you can just see. And over here, paste it here. You just need the instance itself. So hit enter. Okay, now we are logged we are now inside of the EC2 instance. So once you're here, so you're going to simply go into our GitHub, you're going to simply cd into your GitHub repository, and mine is called Django _ EC2. Alright, so and once you're here, let's activate our virtual environment. Okay, so to activate your virtual environment, you know what to do. Go down to the guide I gave you. It's on the GitHub repository. So just scroll up. We have the code to activate our virtual environment. So here's the code here. So just copy this and paste in your EC2 instance. Sorry, before you paste it, you can paste it now. So hit enter. So once you're here, so it's time for us to pull in our code into the EC2 instance. So we're going to say git add then dots. Right, so and then I'm going to say git commits. I could just say git commits. Let me just say pull in. And then lastly, you're going to pull the code. You're going to say git pull origin main. Okay, we're facing an error here. So let's run this git rebase skip. So we're going to run git rebase then skip. You can see the command here. So whenever you face an error, it always gives you an insight on what to do next. Understand? So you're going to run git rebase then skip. So hit enter. It says could not apply. Ouch, something is happening here. Let's try git rebase abort. We can see that here. Git rebase abort. I don't like these git errors. Don't worry, we are going to solve these errors with CI/CD. But as for now, we just have to just keep doing this manually. So very soon, I will show you how to automate your deployments to AWS. So once you've done git rebase, so let's try pulling. I'm going to say git pull origin main. Hope there won't be error. The error is still there. So let's say git rebase skip. Oh my god, it's not coming. So as you can see now, I just ran git rebase skip. Git rebase skip. After running git rebase skip, you can see it says successfully rebased and updated the refs, the heads, and the main. So I think everything. Let's try and pull. Let's say git pull origin and then main. I hope it works. Yes, it says already up to date. So perfect. So you can proceed now. So what's the next thing? So the next thing is for us to update our env file. Remember, we have some new credentials. We have some credentials for our database. So we have to push those credentials into the env file. So I'll simply come over here and say nano.env. So open. So remember, we already have the credentials for our S3 bucket. So I want to add credentials for our Postgres database. Hope you get. So how do we go about that? So I'll simply copy that of my. I could just come over here, come over to my code and copy the credentials. Ctrl A, Ctrl C back here. Let me delete what. I can just come. Okay, I won't delete. I'm going to clear out all what I have here, and I'll paste in everything I copied from my env file. It's the same thing. Yep. I'll just say Ctrl X, Ctrl, and leave. So once we are out of it, I think we are good to go. So the next command we are going to run is for us to restart Nginx and restart Gunicon. Hope you understand. So let's run that command. Okay, right now let's restart Gunicon and let's restart Nginx and Gunicon. And back here, you find a command here. So this is the command to restart Nginx. Copy it, paste it here. So you hit enter. And then run the same command, and then we're going to replace Nginx. We are going to replace Nginx with Gunicon. So we are going to say Gunicon, and we hit enter. So once you've done this now, go down to your web browser and okay. We are expected to see this guy disappear because we are on a new database. So refresh. We are live on AWS, and we are now on the new database. If you can see now, we've lost our categories, they are all gone. That's because we are on a new database. So now I'm going to show you, so we are going to just go down to /admin. Okay, so we are going to log into the Django admin. If you remember, while we were configuring this database in the local environment, I created a super user. And that same user can access the database even on AWS. That's because we are using a live database that is live both in development and in production. So whatever the database has is going to be available both in production and also in development environment. So I'm going to go down to I'm going to simply log in. Right, so if you can remember, go down to where I showed you how to set up your database. You see we created a super user and we made migrations there. So I'm going to add a new category. I could just come over here. I'll just say front-end developments. Front-end developments. So description, I'll just say put this here. So voters, okay, no, this is a voting app. So I'll just find something to put there as the, okay, save, and let's save. Okay, save now, come back over. If you go down to your EC2 instance, just copy that code, paste it here, hit enter. You can see now we have front-end development, and this image is coming live from the S3 bucket, and I'll prove it to you. So if you click on this link, you can see from the URL is coming from AWS, from the Amazon S3 bucket. Hope you understand. So that's it now. I just showed you how to configure your S3 bucket and also how to configure the RDS Postgres database. So the next step now, I'm going to show you how to automate your deployment. So you don't have to come over here to always have to git pull. So whenever you push to GitHub, your changes reflect on AWS. Your changes will reflect on the EC2 instance, and once you come down to your website, you see the changes already reflecting. Instead, you don't have to come to your EC2 instance to start pulling or do any kind of things. Everything will be handled by GitHub Actions, and I'll show you how it is being done. Okay guys, so right now it's time for us to go automate our deployments. Understand? So what we're going to do is go down to your code. So you're going to create a folder. You're going to create a folder called .github. So in the root directory, so we're going to add a new folder. I'm going to say .github, and inside of this folder, we are going to create another folder. We're going to call this folder workflows. I'm going to say workflows. Hit enter, and inside of the workflow folder, we'll create a new file called deploy.yml. Yes. So once you've done this, now you're going to paste in this code inside. So I'll explain what the code is doing. You can see this is our deployment. This is the code that will help us automate our deployment on AWS EC2 Instance. Hope you understand. So once you're here, you can see the name. It says deploy Django to EC2. That is just a name. No, that's just a name. So you can see now on this over here, you can see it says branches. So whenever we push to the main branch, the workflow in this file gets triggered. So that's what it means here. So whenever we push the main branch, the workflow on the file gets triggered. You can see, and our code is going to run on an Ubuntu environment. If you remember closely, why we were creating the EC2 instance, if you remember closely, I chose Ubuntu as the environment we are going to work on. So you can see over here now we have the checkout code. This part of the code simply pulls in our code into the Ubuntu environment, which is the AWS instance, which is the AWS EC2 instance. So this part of this workflow pulls in our code into AWS, and over here we have to get Python installed, and the version is 3.8. And at this point, we have to create a virtual environment. So I'm going to call my virtual environment. So I'm going to call it, let me just say Pro ENV. So right now, Pro ENV is the name of my virtual environment. And over here, I'm going to activate it. I'll still call it Pro ENV. So Pro ENV. So once it has been activated, I'm going to then install the requirement.txt into the virtual environment. And over here, in this region, this is the actual code that's pull in our changes into the into the EC2 instance. This is the actual code that does it. So right now on GitHub, we are going to set two environment variables, two secrets. The first one is called the SSH private key, and the other one is called our EC2 public IP. So right now I'm going to show you how to set these two keys on GitHub. So you are meant to set them on GitHub. They are just like environment variables. So go down to your GitHub repository. So we're on, I think our repository is called Django EC2. So I'm going to click open this repository. So once you're here, click on settings on top, see it up here, click on it. And once you've clicked on settings, go down to the left navigation, scroll down to where you see you have secrets and variables. On the left you have secrets and variables, so click on the drop down and choose actions, and once you are here we can then add our new secrets. So we're going to say new repository secrets, so the name will be called, so I want to add my SSH key, my SSH private key. I'll copy this, so if I paste the name here, and then I'm going to get my SSH private key. Understand, the name is, so my SSH private key is the content of my .pem file. So I'll open it here, and here's my SSH private key. I'll copy everything and down to GitHub, I'll paste it, then save, add secrets, and I'm also going to add my EC2 public IP. So I'll copy the key from here. This is just copy, and down to GitHub. So add a new repository secret. I'll paste it here, and my public IP can be, remember, know where it's gotten from. So you can see this is your public IP. This is your IP. That's it there. Your host, you understand? Just copy that. Where was I? So paste it here. Sorry, I meant to remove those / anything by the side. So removing them. So it's just the IP address itself. So click on add secrets. So once you've done this now, we have added our 2 secrets. I'm back to the code now. So now you can see we have our secret already added. So you can see it is being used here. Understand? So, and over here, so right here you can see we are going to cd into home, then Ubuntu, then your GitHub repository, and currently we are working on the name is what? Django EC2. It should be the name of your Git repository. So I'll put in the name here as Django EC2. I'll move over this there. Yes, and once you've done that now, so remember this is the name of our Git repository on the EC2 instance, right? If you remember, and once you are inside of your repository, you are meant to run the git add, then you commit, and then you pull in your code. And once you pull in your code, you activate your virtual environment again, right? So remember, our virtual environment is called Pro env. It's called Pro env, and here we are going to put in Pro env, and then we store the requirement.txt file. We migrate. Right, and migrate, and once you migrate, you are going to restart Gunicon and Nginx. You understand? And once you do this, your code will be automatically so once this workflow is complete, whenever you push your code to GitHub, your code will automatically deploy by itself. So let's try it out. So now let's push to GitHub. So I'm going to put my terminal. So I'll say git add. Okay, git add. Come on. Why is it taking time? So say git commits. Now say added CI/CD. Right now, push to the main branch. Oh, I'm waiting. Commit quickly. So git push origin main. So It's going to push the main branch now. So once it's pushed the main branch, it's going to automatically start deploying down to the EC2 instance. So go down to the top. So click on, make sure click on actions. Click on actions. What's happening? Hope I didn't make any mistake. We are meant to see the action take place over here. So after making a push to the main branch, I'm seeing this. This is not meant to occur. It's meant to be green. Understand? It's meant to be green. So we are going to push again. Let's just add some white space in this code. Just some white space, and then push your code to GitHub. I'm going to pause the video and push my code to GitHub one more time. Okay. So if you watch closely, you can see now I just made a push to I just added some white space to our workflow, just some white space, and then I pushed again, and we check closely. It is deploying, but it's a bit slow. I wonder why it is queuing. So if I refresh this page, okay, now it's just started. I can see it's rolling up. So you can see our workflow it's loading, so it's meant to turn green. I can't say why this is red, because I am literally pushing the same code again. I just added some white space to show that I made some changes, right? So it's deploying now. Let's wait for it. So it's meant to turn green. So let's see the progress. Click on it. So click here. Okay, there was an error. Okay, we're having problem with the version of Django we are using. So to see that's a problem, you can see it over here. It's complaining about our Django version, that there is no distribution found for Django 5.0.7. because that's the new Django version. So you're going to go down to your requirement.csv file, and let's use Django 4.2.3. Yeah, let's do this. We are using Django 4.2.3, and once you've done this now, so you're going to push again to GitHub. So you're going to say git add, and quickly. Okay, git commit. It's going to say changed Django version. And now we're going to push to GitHub. Come up. I don't know why git bash takes time. If I'm to use a CMD is quite faster. But I love the git bash because of its fine text, the colored text. But it just takes time. So git commits, I have to wait. So now let's push git push origin main. So now let's just for it to push. Okay, it's done pushing, and back to GitHub. Click on the Actions tab. I don't know why it's taking time. Could it be that my network is slow? Stop wasting my time. Load up. Okay, this is the new workflow. This is the new workflow run. So it's queued up. Not meant to be queued up. So if you refresh, you're not meant to refresh this, you're meant to just come over here and see it rolling. You see it loading. But here it's something different. So if it is still taking this much time, just refresh the page. Just refresh the page. Ouch. It's still there. I'm going to wait for it. It's queued. It's queued up. You can see from here. It's saying queued. Let's wait for it. So right now it's now loading. So let's just see the work. Let's see how it's progressing. So click on it. So click on the deploy. Click on it. Um, it's still trying to install dependencies. It faces another issue. What could be the problem? Okay, we are facing an issue with the URL with this package called URL. This URL library. Okay, so come back. So we are going to go back to our code again. So where is it? So you just comment it out, copy it, Ctrl C. So you're going to remove the version. So remove the version. Yeah, remove the version there. So we push again to GitHub. We just say git add. Quickly. Okay, so we just made another push. So click on the Actions tab. So it does not take this much. It does not take time at all. Whenever you make a push and you come to the Actions tab, you see it loading. But right now, I don't know why it's taking time for it. I don't know why it's queuing up. But we'll wait for it. So right now it just started the deployment process. It just started it. So click on it again and let's see how it is going. I just hope there is no error this time. So right now now I think it's done. So previously we were stuck in this install dependencies. We were stuck here previously, but right now we've passed through there. We've been able to deploy to EC2. Click on it. There was no problem here. So there's no problem. Okay. Well, it's not done. So let's wait for it. So once it turns green, once it turns green, that means everything worked out. So let's wait for it. There was no issue. You can check out the steps. The steps are all completed. And you can see the steps are all completed, right? All of them are completed. So, okay, now it's now great. Okay, it's not because let's see. Click on Actions again. So let's wait for it. So now it turned green. So right, so that's a good sign. So now I want to see if right now we want to see if it is actually working or not. Let's see. So I'm going to go down to my code and make a significant change. So I want to remove this button, this let's vote button. I'll simply remove it and then push again to see if it is going to reflect. So go down to my index.html. So let me just make this smaller. So here's the button. You can see it says let votes. You can see this is the button, let's vote. So I'll simply comment it. So once it's been commented, so let's push again to GitHub. So I'll push one more time. So I just finished pushing to GitHub again. So I go down to the Actions page. So you can see it is called the remove button. So this message you see here is usually your commit message. This title you see it is usually your commit message. So let's wait for it. But it is not meant to take this time. I don't know why it takes this much time, because once I've done previously, whenever I push the main branch, it starts loading, and in less than 1 minute it is done deploying. But right now it just keeps getting queued up. So let's wait for it. So right now it's deploying. Let's wait for it. So once it turns green, once it turns green, we'll come over here and refresh the page. So if this button disappears, that means our auto deployment is working. So let's wait for it. So it's done deploying. It's now green. So to the browser, refresh. You can see the button disappeared after I refresh, right? So whenever we push the main branch, we don't have to stress it. It auto deploys to it auto deploys to our EC2 instance. So right now, you can see now the button is gone without having to come over here to do any form of, without having to come over to the EC2 instance to do any kind of pulling or pushing. So I'll go back again and add the button. I'll remove the comments and then I'll push again. Then I'll say git commits. I already ran git add, so I'll say git commits, adding button. So then we can push next. So it's done pushing, so onto the workflow. So you can see it says adding button. Let's wait for it. So the workflow is done running. So go back to the page again, and once you refresh this page, you're meant to see a button appear. A button is back again. So now, right now, in this tutorial, in this full tutorial, I just showed you how you can deploy your code to AWS EC2 Instance, also how you can configure S3 Bucket to serve your static and your media files, and you also learned how to use the Postgres database from AWS RDS, and lastly, I showed you how to automate your deployments using Git Actions instance. So I really hope you gained some value. If you did, do well to smash the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. I will see you again in the next video.